Kidnapped baby Lwazi Mdletshe is still missing in a case that allegedly took place in a revenge for a robbery scenario. In most recent crime statistics, over 4,000 cases were reported between October and December last year, with only 128 of those cases for ransom. For more on this, we can speak to the Teddy Bear Foundation's Clinical Director, Shaheda Omar. Dr. Omar, very good evening to you. Grateful for your time. So it's a troubling case this that we're talking about tonight, but made more troubling by the fact that there are conflicting reports about what exactly has gone on.
Indeed, I think there are huge concerns. We are aware of many incidences of infants, newborns being abducted, kidnapped for various reasons, sometimes for purposes of muti, sometimes for childless parents where huge sums of money are paid. So there are reasons, but in this case, it is a bit confusing. It's very concerning. It's alarming because 2 and 2 is not adding up to 4. The responses elicited by the family immediately and even afterwards, there are lots of questions to be answered. However, this does not make it acceptable for a 2-month-old to be faced in such a situation. Of course, we know a 2-month will not be able to recognize the attachment figures, but they do scent. They scent and smell the mother's breast. I think so. That's something that the infant at this point in time, there could be some kind of dis-ease and a level of trauma which we cannot measure at this point in time.
Could it result, though, in long-lasting trauma when you consider that it's an infant with no clear recollection or ability to make out what exactly is going on where they are?
So you ask such an important question, because if we look at the neural pathways and the neurolinguistic studies that have been conducted and continue to be conducted, where it does impact on the brain, where the neural pathways, the wiring, firing, and there's reconfiguration which can impact the trajectory of the infant, or it could be precursors or predispose that infant when in this case he grows up, there would be certain risk factors that he is more likely to gravitate towards. So I think definitely one can only speculate. But we hope and pray that this infant is found and receives the necessary love, care and support that he so desperately needs.
And one of the reports out today on this case suggests that there's a feeling among some people that given the density, for example, of the area where the child was taken, either in one of the scenarios where we're told it was a robbery targeting the family home, or an attack based on the fact that there'd been a dispute between a relative and people who basically came to the house to snatch the child as a means to get back at a male relative in the family who's not a parent of this child. If the community is now being accused to a degree of perhaps not coming forward with what they know, how much does that hinder the investigation?
Well, I think, one can only speculate regarding the community's response. There might be a lot of fear, underlying fear of being, fear of reprisal, fear of being victimized, and that might be one of the reasons why people have not cooperated or come forward. And of course, this could certainly lend a lot more light and of course, the safe recovery and return of this infant who is vulnerable, who is a soft target, who is defenseless, who cannot speak out. I mean, just think about an adult when they find themselves in this kind of compromising situation. One is tongue-tied, one cannot actually even respond. For an infant who cannot actually do anything, this is so, so tragic that a child an infant, a newborn is actually used as a pawn and as a form of vengeance. This is unacceptable. It's such a gross violation of human rights of a little baby whose implicit right is to be protected, cared and nurtured.
And often when people are abducted or go missing, we talk about the importance of the time between when the disappearance happens and when they are found. How critical is it now, especially in the context of a defenseless child?
Well, it's absolutely critical. I think, they always say the first few hours are so critical to ensure the safe return of their child. and people should come forward, whatever information they have, even if it's a suspicion or an inkling or some doubt, provided they're acting in good faith, there will be no legal recourse. And even people can report anonymously to the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit. There's Missing Link South Africa. They can contact Missing Link South Africa. So we urge the public to actually respond. It could be my child, it could be your child, it's our child at the end of the day.
Dr. Shaheda Omar, good to speak to you from the Teddy Bear Foundation.